Hello again, and welcome back to another episode of the Peacefire Witch, the channel where we review tarot and oracle decks and other witchy things. I know I keep saying other witchy things, and so far I've only done one unboxing, but don't you worry because I will have more unboxings coming up. I'm gonna try to start posting videos more often so that I can kind of kick this channel up and running. I will probably slow down and pull back on the number of things I record in a day. This is actually the third video I'm recording on this day. Usually you can you can tell when I'm recording a video on the same day based on my 5-year-old's manicure of usually these last like 2 or 3 days before something happens to him and she wants to redo them. So that's your trick. I changed out my bracelet. I'm like, I'm gonna make them think it's a different day. I'm just telling you that it's not. I also changed out the card that I have over here every day. I don't know why I'm doing this. I should just tell you right now. Yep, I'm recording this on the same day. I just actually 30 seconds ago did the Pride Tarot review. Yeah, and now I'm going to do the Fifth Spirit Tarot because I did tease it at the end of the Pride Tarot one. And so I'm recording it now because I'm on a roll and I just want to keep going and get these videos out. I'm enjoying this so much. So this is going to be another unseen walkthrough. Have I even opened this? Okay. I don't think I've opened it. Yeah, I have definitely not even opened this one yet. So we are going to see it together for the first time, maybe, unless you have this or you've seen it. But if you haven't, we're going to see it for the first time together. And I'm so excited. I am so excited to review this deck. So here we go. So this is the Fifth Spirit Tarot by Charlie Claire Burgess. If you want to, I don't know. Tell me, go ahead. Is it Burgess or Burgess? Either way, Charlie Claire uses the they, them pronouns, so I will use those pronouns when talking about the creator of this beautiful deck, if it's anything like the box anyway. So here we do see the box. The box is a 2-piece box. It is pretty sturdy. There is nothing on the inside, but it does come with a guidebook. Oh, a very thin guidebook, actually. I was expecting more to come out of that. So that's kind of why I was caught off guard. But, a guidebook doesn't have to be very large if the cards are very kind of obvious as to what they mean. So let's just take a quick look, and it does give you the Fifth Spirit Tarot is dedicated to the queers, the outsiders, the survivors, and everyone making magic from the margins. Love that. Introduction. Tarot for the world beyond binaries. So again, you're going to notice this deck is non-binary. So I believe most of the illustrations are of non-binary people. And I believe some of the names have also been changed in the cards themselves. So we'll get to that when we start digging through the deck. Again, there's a few things I do know about the deck ahead of time. I have done my research. This deck kept showing up in my Instagram feed and I kept seeing it, and it's completely opposite of what I usually like in a deck, and I just had to have it. It was one of those things where I just looked and I was like, I need to have this deck. It is so gorgeous. It is the most expensive deck that I own. I believe it was $55. I'll have like something pop up like right here if I'm wrong about that. But yeah, it was a pretty expensive deck, but it happened to come across my feed the same day that I got my stimulus checks. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to use my stimulus check, at least a small part of it, in a way that I am happy spending the money on. So I will happily every day, if I could, buy a beautiful indie deck from a beautiful creator that just makes my heart flutter. And I actually saw a walkthrough of this deck on Papa Squirrel's channel, and I actually started tearing up as I was looking at it. So really quick, the court card, it kind of gives you a bit of like, it's basically breaking down tarot for you in a very easy to understand way. So when you're going through the minor arcana, you've got the card 1, the ace, the 2, the 3, 4, 5, 6, and it's saying, without having to know what each card means, you can memorize this very easily and kind of interpret it from there. Then we're going into the major arcana. And again, it's just giving you a very small paragraph on each card. There's not a whole lot of detail, but again, there doesn't have to be a ton of detail. Anybody who thinks that the guidebook needs to be 3-4 times the size, it doesn't. You really just, it's part of reading it and understanding it and interpreting it, the message for how it relates to you or the person you're reading for, and less about being like, okay, I'm going to pick up the guidebook and word for word read what it says. That's not what tarot is. You know, it can be for you if that's how you want to do it, but I have been having a great time learning the different cards and their meanings and getting away from the guidebook. But it is still fun to read because some people have a different interpretation of some of the cards or a different idea. So I do like to flip through it, and that is the last page, and see what their interpretation of certain cards are. So this is talking about Charlie Claire, I'm just going to say Burgess. We're going to commit to Burgess. So Charlie Claire Burgess, they, them, is a queer and non-binary tarot practitioner, tarot teacher, artist, writer, and witch. And they are the host of the Word Witch podcast. I'm actually in their Patreon. So they have a very, very lovely Patreon. So if you are a Patreon fan, I definitely recommend checking out the Word Witch Patreon. Okay, so now we are going to dig into the cards themselves. Let me just set this there so it's in the background and you can see it. Just do that. Okay. Before I get started, I do have to do, just because I do, a nudity note, because a couple of these cards do have some nudity involved. Yeah, I hate having to do that because I think it's kind of ridiculous, but I do. So just a nudity warning. If it really bothers you, pull away. However, I honestly don't think you'll notice. It's just not that kind of nudity. So back of the cards are very, very lovely. Very simple. This is a matte deck. Again, this is my go-to Muse deck. I believe they are exactly the same size. Maybe just slightly, the Muse might be slightly wider right there. But this is very comparable. It's a traditional tarot-sized deck, matte. We're just going to start flipping through. So again, I like borderless decks. This one is not borderless, but there's something about the border on this one that I really like. So it didn't bother me. In fact, I kind of feel like it having a border makes it better. And I love this Fool card. The Fool walking off the edge of a cliff. They have a dog. Look at that doggy. So cute. The dog is like, I don't think you should be going any further. But yeah, I love this Fool card. And again, I do tend to look very closely at Fool cards. In fact, I have purchased decks solely based on the Fool card. So these cards, again, are going to be primarily non-binary cards. The Emperor, Hierophant. Ooh, I love these. So the key symbols are there. The Lovers. I love this card. It's not two people in love. It's them and their inner self. And that's just beautiful. And it tells you don't have to have another human being in your life in order to find love. As a roller derby person, I do love this card. I didn't know that. I love that it's the chariot. Their skates are their chariot. That's awesome. Oh, strength. All right, so I know I always say that I'm a strength traditionalist. I want to see the lion. I want to see a person interacting in some way with the lion. I am perfectly okay with the lion being a pity. Oh my gosh, the face. I love this so much. Her little face, actually, I'll say this. This card in particular, that's a female dog. She looks like she's had a litter of puppies, just her little tiny face. Oh God, I love this card. I love this card. I do. So, I'm usually very picky about the strength cards, and that one just did it for me. I think that's one of the ones that made me tear up when Papa Squirrel was doing his review of this deck. And the way he does it, he has like a collage, or not really a collage, but like a video, like sequence where he's laying out the cards. And I saw that one. I'm like, that card just, oh. And death, even death is beautiful. Look at this. This is just gorgeous. It is, you have the death here, and you have an elderly person, and then you have this young couple, and they're just beautiful little baby. Oh, this deck. Okay, I love my Muse deck. It's been my go-to since I got back into tarot last year, and I might be putting it away for a little while because I love this so much. As I say that, as I'm looking at the tower, which is somebody's house on fire. It's a terrible card, but it's one of those cards that is both terrible and has the potential to be amazing at the same time. The star, the moon. This is just a beautiful deck, and it's easy for me to interpret. I love the dogs. Oh, look at the dogs. Oh, we've had a pity. We've had whatever it was in the fool's backpack, and then we got this guy, this little that's a beagle, right? We're gonna go with beagle. Beautiful. Judgment. The world. There's my lion. He's there. He's in the card. He's just not where he should be in the strength card, but like I said, I prefer the pit bull. Okay, now we are on to the minor arcana, and it looks like they're not telling you what it is. I know this is wands because there's fire and flames, so I'm guessing this is going to be a reoccurring theme where it gives you the number, but it doesn't tell you what it is. You have to figure it out. So this is, again, fire themed. Oh, okay, right here. It took me a minute because I would have thought this was air, which would have made it a sword, but it's fire. It's a little tricky. I'm actually kind of glad that I'm I'm glad the guidebook gave you kind of the guide on what the different elements mean. So definitely read that. This is not an obvious deck. This is actually feeling a bit pippish now, and I don't know. I said I don't like pip decks. I like fully illustrated decks. I'm taking that back. This deck is my exception to that, and I will probably have more exceptions to that. Watch, in like 6 weeks, I'm going to be coming on here like, I love pip decks. These illustrated decks are ridiculous. Pip decks are where they're at. Learn your tarot and learn what you need and read intuitively. Yeah, I'm sure that will happen. The Page of Wands. Love this card. I like the page cards in general. They kind of have this like youthful freedom to them that I love so much. And this one, again, is telling you not only the court name, but also the card name. So Knight of Wands. This one does spell it out for you a little bit better. No having to figure that out. The Queen of Wands with her little black cat right there. Beautiful. The King of Wands. And now we are on to the cups. So the cups are pretty obvious so far. Oh, I do love the Two of Cups. Look at the ladybugs. I love the different elements of nature that are being pulled into this. The Two of Cups is a favorite card of mine, so I love this a lot. It's got like a drinking glass, and then it's got a teacup up there. And again, in case you just heard that door open and close, I do live in a house with a lot of humans and dogs and other creatures that occasionally crawl around at night. We have a bearded dragon who likes to keep getting out of his cage, and then we find him like a day later under some piece of furniture. Anyway, so you might hear some background noise. I am recording this after my kids have gone to bed. I like this one too, and I think I really like it because of the lipstick. That's such a subtle addition. But anyway, so my kids have gone to bed. Hopefully they do not wake up and try to come in here. But yeah, you might hear sounds, you might hear people moving about. That's just the nature of my house. I'm doing my best to record these after my kids go to bed, which is why I'm recording so many of them all at once. But my husband is still awake, and that is him walking around. All right, so we're still going. No, wait. Yeah, we're still in the cups. Okay. I was talking there and not really paying attention. I'm like, how did I already get to the cups court? Love this one too. Like the goldfish. Oh, just the animals in this. I like how this one is a dog bowl. And there's a baby bottle. And then the rainbow cup. Oh, little silly straw. Oh, I love this one. It's got this guy still in there. He's like, I'm going to chill out here. You guys can jump out all you want. I am chilling out. The Page of Cups. This is the revised Page of Cups. The original one was replaced with that one for certain reasons. If you really want to read up about that, head over to Charlie Claire's Instagram page. Kind of gives you information about why they replaced the Page of Cups. And I actually really... Okay, so we're going to stop really quick at this one. I'm going to get back into the Page of Cups story, but it's Mr. Rogers. I know, I've heard some people complain that they don't like Mr. Rogers being in this deck because it takes away, because all the other characters are kind of non-binary, and Mr. Rogers, you know, it's Mr. Rogers. He was a identified male. He was a straight male as far as I know, but I love him in this role as the King of Cups, and it just, as an 80s child, it just makes me so happy. This whole deck makes me happy. I don't know if you noticed that yet, but this card especially really makes me happy. So anyway, back to the Page of Cups. Charlie Claire goes into it on their Instagram page. They actually stopped production of the deck for a while so that they could reprint the Page of Cups to be a more appropriate card for tarot. And again, you can read all about that on their Instagram page, but it just made me like this deck even more, that they put so much thought and consideration into making it not only diverse, but also respectfully diverse, and stopped production when there was a problem that was brought up to their attention. And instead of saying, oh, well, you know, there's not much I can do about that at this point, Raven, at least I think, maybe that's not a raven. It's got a white belly. I don't know. Whatever. We're just going to go with Raven because that makes me happy. Anyway, so they stopped production. They sent out replacement cards. They did everything they could to make the deck just perfect and beautiful. And here we have now the current deck. So I purchased this deck after all that happened. They went out of production for a while and then came back. This is a first edition. However, it is the first edition with the replaced Page of Cups. So, Page of Swords. Love this card. Ooh, the Knight of Swords. I love this one too. Everything about this card I love so much, from what they're wearing to their shoes to their hair. Oh, this is a beautiful card. The Queen of Swords. The King of Swords. This is another card I feel very familiar with because I feel like I've seen it a lot when people post about this deck. And here we are onto the Pentacles. And I think I'm starting to see... I thought I was seeing... Is it like a gardening? Is there a gardening theme in the Pentacles? There might be. I love this one. They're all down in the roots. So this is a rather Pippish deck. It's kind of a, I guess, a crossbreed between Pip and Illustrated because it's not completely Pip. If it were just Pip, you would just have these things kind of in a row and not the rest of the illustration. But it's not, you don't have people in the Minor Arcana. You just have the symbols. And it looks like building and planting seems to be the theme. And then we get to food. So never mind, that's not a theme at all. Yeah, this one I would almost think, if I wasn't looking close enough, might be a Cups card, but it is a Pentacles card and you can see them right there. Cute. Another card that I just love, the rainbow, everything about this card. Oh, look at that. Okay. Keep moving on. Knight of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles. Little bunny rabbit. And finally, the King of Pentacles. So that has been the Fifth Spirit. Hopping around on me here. Fifth Spirit Tarot deck. Very beautiful. And again, this is part of the reason I like borderless decks, because you can do this and it just looks really funky and cool, but can't do that with that. So this does not have gilded edgings, which is something I always kind of feel sad about with a indie deck, because I feel like that's something a lot of indie deck people do, and I kind of expect to see it now. So I will probably gild this one myself at some point. Again, I like to do that as I'm connecting to the deck. And I do think I'm going to start working with this deck a lot, because I just can't even, I just love it so much. It is so, it is face. So this has been the Fifth Spirit Tarot by Charlie Claire. I do recommend following them on Instagram, checking out their website. There is there's a bigger guidebook. So I made a comment about there being a super small guidebook in here. There is a bigger guidebook, and it's like, to me, it looks like it's about this size and it's pretty thick. It was sold out when I went to buy the deck. I did plan to buy it, but it was currently unavailable. When it comes back and it is available again, I do plan to pick that up so that I can read it over a little bit more, and maybe then I'll come back and tell you a bit more about it. I didn't notice this at first. There's a lighter right there. I don't know if it's on the other side too. Oh, it's a knife. Pocket knife. Cool. Oh, what's up here? Yep, there's the cups, which means down here we're going to have a pentacle. Yep. Very cool. Very neat deck. Very cool. Check out Charlie Claire. Listen to the Word Witch podcast. It's a very nice, cool podcast. Again, if you're into Patreon, check out the Word Witch on Patreon. I've been a Patreon of theirs for a couple of months now, and I definitely love the content, and I look forward to, when stuff comes out. They have this great major arcana, like explained in 80 minutes, that I really enjoyed listening to. It helped me learn cards a lot. So definitely a great resource in addition to a fantastic deck. Yay. So thank you once again for tuning into my channel. I am the Peacefire Witch, and you can find me on Instagram at @thepeacefire_witch. I will be bringing you more tarot reviews, oracle deck reviews, and other witchy things very soon. Again, I've decided I'm not going to commit to being like, I'll see you next week on Wednesday. I don't care. I'm going to post videos when I post videos, and you can just see them when they come out or watch them later, whatever. So I will see you again when I see you again. Bye.